Hey, it's Andrew Morgan, host of the Nomcast, the Netflix original movie podcast. Each week, we review the biggest Netflix original movies with special guests from the film industry, the music industry, comedians, and of course, our fellow podcasters. Check us out on the web at nomcastpod.com. Follow us on the socials at nomcastpod, and most importantly, listen and subscribe to us wherever you get podcasts. Hit that beat one time.
Hey Field Hang 10, watch out for a new wave of episodes for Forgotten Cinema Season 9, Forgotten Summer.
Ugh, really, Butler? A theme season? Let me guess, we're gonna talk about films that were released in the coveted summer months that for some reason seem to be forgotten by audiences.
You know it, bro. What we liked about them or maybe didn't, but we'll always recommend people check them out. Maybe they'll find their own Forgotten Summer gem.
So check out Forgotten Summer wherever you get your podcast, part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
Hold on, gotta catch this wave.
We're sitting at this in a recording booth.
Welcome, everybody. Today's episode of Bohemian Geek Studies is brought to you by Revolution Beauty. Revolution Beauty is affordable and accessible makeup for all. Since day one, Revolution has been challenging beauty norms and championing diversity. All products are 100% cruelty-free and designed based on consumer feedback. So Revolution has something for every skin type and any occasion. For me, this is super tough because I have freckles and I still like them to be visible, and a lot of foundations are crazy thick. So going for something that would actually fit my skin tone would be excellent. It's not back like when I was a kid when I was like, ew, gross, freckles, please, God, no. Now I'm like, no, freckles are cool. I like them. So it's really nice to know that there are people out there that are looking at this kind of thing and doing skin routines for people who actually are proud of their skin type and who are proud of their freckles and just want to show like natural beauty mixed in with like, yes, but I actually still want to wear makeup because yikes, the face situation can be difficult some days. We are teaming up with Revolution Beauty to give you 20% off your next purchase by using the code PODGO20, that code PODGO20 at revolutionbeauty.us. Check out the link in our show notes and join the revolution today. Hello there, and welcome, Nerdy Knights of the Well-Rounded Table, to Bohemian Geek Studies, where we are taking extremely dorky dives into our favorite fandoms. I'm Colleen McMillan, Jedi Master and Rebel Scum collaborator.
And I am Pirate Jedi, Anders Drew. But no matter what rank you happen to carry, one thing will always remain constant. Much to learn we still have. Darn
right. This season on Bohemian Geek Studies, we're taking our detailed dorky dive into Star Wars Rebels. Today, we're diving into Season 3, Episodes 5 and 6, entitled Hera's Heroes and the Last Battle.
We have done our absolute best to scramble our signal, and we will be avoiding spoilers for future episodes of Rebels, but I will throw in an adult content warning for the younglings. Some droids and some capes and some Thrawn going on later. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we had a quite a mixed bag of thirst today.
So without further ado, let's hop on board the brand new Phantom, or the old new Phantom, whichever you want to call it, and head to Ryloth as we explore our holocrons of knowledge. Colleen, punch it and open that first holocron.
Woo, here we go. Our first holocron is the Journal of the Wills, in which we go over the plot synopsis for the episodes this week. We start out with episode 5, Hera's Heroes. It begins on Ryloth. Sham Syndulla and Numa are riding blurgs. Yay!
Yay!
I love the blurgs.
They're adorable.
Bring on the blurgs forever and always. They're being pursued by some stormtroopers. Fortunately, his daughter Hera is on the way for a quick pickup. They jump aboard, joined by a trooper.
Yo, he went right in for it. He was just like, I am going for these rebels.
Big dummy. Like, dude, no. I hope that they just kind of left him on the side of the road because I don't like I hope they didn't just kill him.
No, I don't think they killed him, but they probably took him prisoner. They probably tried to get some intel.
That's true. It's time for some soft interrogation. We don't use the torture droids, unlike your empire. Would you like to join the rebellion? Please let this guy join the rebellion. That would be amazing. So Cham tells his daughter some disappointing news. The Empire is now occupying their home province, the Town province. This means their family heirloom, which is a Kalikori, is in the Empire's possession, but Hera vows to recover it. Much to her chagrin, everyone wants in on the recovery.
Shocker. Who is shocked by this?
No one, except Hera, apparently. Like, girl, you know your fam better than this.
I know, right?
Obviously, they're going to want to join you.
So putting their quote unquote plans into action. I will put those in quotes because, as always, it's not that well thought out. The Lothal and the Ryloth rebels ambush an Imperial patrol led by an ATDP walker and an Imperial troop transport at the Tulara Ravine. I will absolutely also say, I mean, Sabine, as always, like laying the explosives for the distractions and things throughout this. The colors of her charges in this are so cool. They're not just like
really cool.
They're not just like orange fire. They're like green and purple mixed together, and it just looked so cool. And I was like, "Yo, like Sabine, art, fire, 4th of July that we just had. Boom, boom, boom."
So perfect and so right. That's so right. I love it.
So while they're distracting them, Ezra and Hera take a speeder bike back to the Syndulla house, with Ezra posing as a scout trooper who has captured the Twi'lek, and Chopper, once again quickly painted as an Imperial droid sneaking in. But sadly, Chopper just can't really get past this wrecked Y-Wing starfighter that Hera says Cham has left as a memorial. And it's also the Y-Wing. Hera reveals that it's the Y-Wing that she actually pulled Chopper out of that started their relationship with each other. And it's just really adorable and very sad. But as all that's happening, Hera and Ezra find the Calicori and try to sneak out. But Captain Slevine and Thrawn, along with 2 stormtroopers, come in. So Hera plans on using a secret entrance in the basement to escape. But whoopsies, the Imperials have converted it into a command center. I don't know about you. This reminded me absolutely of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, when they go through the fireplace and it's just like the command center in the mansion.
Yes. Don't worry, nobody goes down there.
Yeah, we never, unless we wanted to sneak fruit.
Except that's probably the best place to put your command center. Everything's fine. This plan is perfect. Meanwhile, Sham, Gobi, and Numa and the other Spectres are ambushed by another ATDP walker. A firefight breaks out, shocking, and the rebels have to retreat. Using Chopper as an attempted diversion, Hera and Ezra try to escape through the front door, but Hera runs straight into Slavin and Thrawn. Whoopsies. Slavin mistakes her for a servant because he's an idiot, but Thrawn knows better and deduces her true identity. Ezra tries to make a move.
Bond villain moment as he's talking his way through that.
Yes, super, super explainy. Thrawn does love to monologue.
Very, actually, not even Bond villain, very like Moriarty.
Yes, he's very Moriarty, and he doesn't have his Sherlock really in this series, so it's kind of interesting to see him playing off these people who are smart. Like Hera is a very smart person, and she's good at thinking on her feet, but Thrawn is just so many steps ahead of her and so many levels ahead of everyone that this is basically like child's play to him. He's kind of like, ooh, fun, a game. Like the game is on, now I can learn some stuff. So after leaving the cell, well, after he tells Hera that he's going to keep her Calicori in a place of honor, not a good move, Thrawn, that's not very cool. He gets really aggressive when Slavin suggests that he destroy it because it's like Twi'lek trash, and why would you keep that? The major Empire douchebag alert going on here with Slavin. Back in the cell, Ezra wakes, and Hera like tends to him. It's really sweet. In the Tulara Ravine, the
That's hilarious. And he's like, "What'd I miss?"
Yeah, what happened? I got stunned, right? Are we prisoners? Ezra's just so used to being captured that he's just kind of rolling with it. He's like, I'll get out eventually, like when I want to, it's fine.
Yeah.
So back in the ravine, the Ryloth people and the Spectres are locked in battle against the Walker. The Walker stops firing, and Captain Slavin uses a holocaster to offer Sham a deal. He offers to release Hera and Ezra, which, he's not going to do, if Sham agrees to surrender himself to the Empire. If Sham refuses, Slavin threatens to execute the prisoners by firing squad at dawn. So Sham's like, oh, my daughter plus little baby Jedi, I agree.
Yeah, definitely more for his daughter than for Ezra. He's not that concerned about Ezra. Let's be real here. No. Which don't necessarily blame him on that in that regard. His daughter would take priority. So back in the cell, Hera apologizes to Ezra for embarking on a personal mission and endangering all their lives. She feels like she's being selfish. Yeah. So Chopper then comes into the cell to inform Hera and Ezra that Cham is surrendering himself to the Empire in order to set them free. Hera sends Chopper to find all the explosives he can carry, and he is just so excited at this possibility. His arms are just like, Hera or Chopper, go get all the explosives you can carry. And he's just like, ooh.
Wrong person to tell that to, but that's fine.
Yes, and then Chopper discovers that the prison exchange, shocker, is a planned trap for the rebels.
Yeah.
When Slevin orders Cham to surrender, Cham reminds him to honor his promise to release his daughter and Ezra. Even in this moment, like when Cham obviously doesn't have the upper hand, he does still manage to like stare down the Imperial, and it forces Slavin to be like, fine, we'll go at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, Cham is a very imposing person. Like, he does have the presence about him, and he is a good, capable leader. He's just annoying as fuck.
Yeah, he really is.
I don't like him, but yeah, he's good for his people. It's just, nah.
Meanwhile, Chopper finishes planting the explosives, races out through the door just in time to join Hera and Ezra before Hera orders him to blow everything up, and you could tell he's so excited to push that detonator. Also, great moment from Hera when she's apologizing to Cham, and he's like, honey, it's fine. We all get captured. Like, it happens to me. Like, we're getting you out. And she's like, no. I'm sorry about blowing up the house. That's about to happen.
I love it so much.
Yes. From above, Thrawn watches the explosion, and the rebels flee aboard the Ghost. When a wounded Slavin reports the rebels are getting away, Thrawn counsels him not to worry, because he has found this experiment to be very enlightening, and to let them go. Which is, I think, the first time we've seen Thrawn that. Yeah, it's not the full three. It's one ship, and they've earned their victory. When Kanan apologizes that they weren't able to ultimately recover the Calicori, Hera replies she realizes that she doesn't need an heirloom to honor her mother's memory because she already has Kanan, her father, and the Spectres.
Very cute.
Adorable.
Very, very cute. I mean,
we knew that's where we were headed, but
yeah, exactly. Like, we knew this was not going to be successful, but they tried.
Yeah,
and it was very cute at the end. Next, we have episode 6, The Last Battle. We open as the Ghost descends into the atmosphere of Agamar. The Ghost lands near a wreck of a former Separatist supply ship. Like, so cool seeing that crash site. The Spectres and Captain Rex depart before Hera and Sabine head off into space for their own mission. Rex explains to the group that there was a battle on Agamar during the Clone Wars. Ezra asks if they were fighting battle droids, and Rex tells him the ship used to be crawling with clankers. Enough with the slurs, Rex, come on. Ensures that they destroyed thousands, if not tens of thousands, of these battle droids. Later, Rex and his team find themselves trapped inside a ray shield. Like, this
what's
is
a ray shield?
It's a ray shield. So many Clone Wars callbacks here.
But
like,
you know what? It's great because he doesn't say, "We're smarter than this," so it's fine.
Sith laws are our specialty. Oh, we just got our asses kicked. Oh, there we go.
Again.
Oh, we love you. Revenge of the Sith never change. Oh my god. Okay, so after they're under this ray shield, they're surrounded by a ton of battle droids because of course they are. The lead one is B1268. He informs them that they've been captured by the Separatist Alliance, and Rex is like, how old am I? Where am I? And it knocks them unconscious using the ray shield.
Yes. But then Rex does wake up to find himself the prisoner of a droid named Kalani and calls out to his former comrade, Cody. Very heartbreaking moment there.
Oh. I remember the first time I watched this, I was not ready for that. I was like, what? Oh, it's fine. Everything's fine.
However, Kanan manages to kind of center him and brings him back to reality. Tells Rex that their captor is, in fact, a super tactical droid.
Oopsies.
And Ezra asks if that's bad. Rex confirms that because the super tactical droid is hyper intelligent, very, very fast computing power, very strategic thinking. When Rex asks why Kalani is still operating despite Clone Order 66, the droid explains that he overrode the command signal of Agamar because he believed it to be a Republic trick.
Smart.
So, I don't know if that counts as like droid evolution.
I would say
like being able to override a shutdown code.
That's insane that he was able to do it, not only for himself, but for all of the droids under his command, like,
Yeah.
crazy. Good job, Kalani.
The droid still believes the Clone Wars to be ongoing and wants his prisoners to fight in order to prove his theory that the Separatists had a higher chance of victory than the Republic and the Jedi. And Zeb is going to be the bait, which I'm sure he's just thrilled about.
Zeb's like, I didn't do anything in the Clone Wars.
And they're like, that's right. So you get to sit here.
Yeah.
And play the hostage. Zeb is the damsel in distress.
Yes, fantastic.
Ezra demands that Kalani release Zeb and give them all the proton bombs if they win the exercise, which Kalani accepts. He's like, you know what? That's true. That's cool. Fair's fair.
Yeah, if you can beat us. Oh my god, I love it so much. At Kalani's command, B1268, this poor baby, announces the initiation of Battle Plan Zeta. They're like, woo! We actually get to fight. And the B1 battle droids assume their positions. Chopper spies on the battle droids and enters a Neimoidian escort shuttle. These things look so cool. Which he begins to restart. Meanwhile, Hera and Sabine are being pursued by 3 TIE fighters.
I do like that they cut back to them and that like Hera and Sabine are not just stagnant throughout all of this.
Right.
Like they are obviously out there doing something else and they are working and...
Yeah, they're going to get fuel. Like they're on a very important mission. Like they got a lot of fuel.
Yeah.
If they said that it could do the entire fleet, like, holy crap. Good job, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Agent Callus and Governor Price are together. And Callus is congratulating her on her plan to stop the rebels at the fuel depot. Like, yeah, pretty much worked. Admiral Constantine, this fucking guy, reports that they've received an encrypted distress signal from Agamar. So Price is like, wonder what's going on Agamar, and orders troops dispatched there immediately. Back on Agamar, Kalani outlines the rules of engagement. Oh my god, these poor people.
It's a total Mario mission too. It's like a Mario level.
Yes.
Fight your way up the castle.
Yes, it's definitely a video game. It's definitely a war game, even though the war game will kill you because the battle droids will try to fucking kill you. The rebels must fight their way back to the command center in order to free Zeb. It seems pretty straightforward, but they have to start down where they began and try and work their way back up. And there's a lot of droids in between there. Rex takes point until Ezra comes up with an idea to collapse the catwalk onto some droidicas that kind of like rolled in and are going to be a huge pain in the ass.
How many do they have?
The
Lots.
droidicas?
They have a lot of battle droids.
How many do they have? A lot of battle droids.
No B2s though. Worth noting.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. No B2s. They had the destroyers. So it's like, maybe they just, that order, like the unit was smaller and or just didn't have as much new tech on Onderon. Like maybe they didn't think they needed that much of a presence on Onderon, so they didn't have the B2s.
Could be.
Or it was just easier to animate all B1s. We're just going to say it there. We get Chopper trying to drag Ezra, which is adorable, away onto the shuttle, but Ezra insists that he's not leaving without Rex and Zeb and Kanan. Ezra tells Chopper to get the shuttle ready, though, while he goes to fetch the others.
Yeah, and that delay really kind of irks Kanan and Rex, especially Rex, because they are under some very serious fire. Ezra manages to use the Force to collapse the catwalk over the droidecas, and Kanan and Rex head to the command bridge where they encounter Ezra on the way. And Rex kind of blows up at Ezra that this plan really required precision timing, and Ezra dropped the ball, and just doesn't matter that Chopper was trying to drag him away. Good soldiers follow order, Ezra.
Oh, so bad. So bad.
Rex
I was
is
like,
very much in his own head here.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
So another sign that he's not, like, this isn't Rex right now. This is Rex 20 years ago.
Yeah. After taking on some more destroyers, Rex and the rebels breach the command center and declare victory. However, Kalani disagrees and prepares to execute Zeb at gunpoint. He says, no, you had to actually get Zeb, not just reach the bridge. Ezra intercedes and points out that the droid army is so old, they could never have won this exercise. And Zeb brilliantly explains that the Empire is the reason why the Clone Wars ended, and is pretty much proven right as the Empire arrives. 2 Imperial landing craft near the transport ship and deploy several stormtroopers. B-1268 and his force greet the Imperials, but are attacked, and B-1268 is crushed under an AT-AT. Sorry, guy. Ezra argues that the rebels and droids now face a common enemy and use their forces to unite against tyranny.
Yay! Kind of like a huge flex to bring that many AT-AT walkers to this. Like, what was happening? Oh, I just love it. The Empire's like, just throw everything we have at them. We don't know what's going on down there, really. Like, let's just go. Everybody go.
Yeah.
Rex comes up with a plan to roll the proton torpedoes onto the feet of the advancing walkers with the help of Ezra and Kanan redirecting them with the power of force before the battle droids attack. Teamwork! Woo! The battle droids then flee aboard 2 shuttles with the rebels following in another one. One of them is destroyed, which is sad, but some of them do escape with Kalani. Having escaped into space, the rebels contact Kalani by hologram. So cute. Rex thanks Ezra for quote-unquote ending the Clone Wars, so ending it for Rex and Kalani, which is something. It's not everything, but it's something at least for those 2. It eluded an entire galaxy of senators, which yes, obviously it did, because the politicians are going to fight no matter what.
Yes.
Like, yes, you can simplify it down into 2 people, like 2 smaller groups trying to make diplomacy work. But even then, it took a lot of casualties to make it work. Like, we're close. We're so close, you guys. If only Palpatine hadn't been an evil genius. But of course, they don't know that, so they don't know that this was basically all like, or not in the end. Palpatine would have found some way to win. Rex also commends Ezra for finding the middle path. Like, yes, this part is really good. That entire armies of clone troopers and battle droids failed to find, and makes peace with Kalani. Awesome. Based on this battle, Kalani calculates that the rebellion had a 1% chance of success against the Empire, which I see is giving them quite a bit of chance, like maybe 0.1% chance. He says that they are going to part company, and the droids and the Spectres part ways. They're contacted by Hera, and Rex tells her that they did not manage to obtain the proton bombs, but they did find the Ghost a new shuttle to use as the Phantom 2. Woo!
Woo! Although Sabine's got to paint it first.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, yes.
Yes. All right, well, let's move into our second holocron, The Will of the Force. This is where we discuss the theme or themes of today's episodes. Colleen, start us off.
All right, so for episode 5, we obviously have the importance of heritage, culture, and art for people. We have to pay attention to Thrawn here. He loses his cool, and this hardly ever happens. So we do have to note, like, why is he losing his cool? It's because Slavin just is kind of like, fuck art and fuck culture. And that's Thrawn's
what the Empire
deal.
is really about.
Yes, which makes Thrawn much different than most of the Imperial officers who might appreciate the Calicori, just be like, oh, it's pretty, I'm taking it as a trophy. Whereas Thrawn is taking it to study it and kind of do an art analysis. Like, he's freaking senior in college working on his thesis, and he's going to Ryloth to study the Calicoris. And then we have episode 6, which is mainly about closure. Also realizing, though, that in some battles, there are no winners or losers, or everyone's a loser. Like in this case, the droids and the clones were both losers in this situation. Also PTSD, which is really big throughout Clone Wars and Rebels. It gets the spotlight in both episodes here, with Chopper seeing the old Y-Wing and basically not being able to move for a little while after seeing it. Like, droids do get PTSD. Hera knows this and is really sweet to him about it. Like, she gives him some time. And it's like, yeah, this is going to be tough for Chopper. And props for Chopper just coming in too after suffering like a little setback here.
Another kind of like weird moment in this episode that I'm just remembering is like there are guards standing at the door and Hera is like, Chopper, come on, like very loudly.
Nobody's listening. No one is listening in the Empire. They're just kind of like, da-da-da, Slave is speaking, so I guess we just don't listen to her at all. In the second episode for the PTSD, we've got Rex dealing with his flashbacks, calling Kanan Cody, referring to his best friend, who's Commander Cody from the Clone Wars, him snapping at Ezra, and just like kind of reverting back to kind of his old self. Like, he wasn't that cranky. So this is his experience kind of coming back and being like, I don't want you to die though. So can we stick to the plan?
Yeah.
Please, I don't want to lose my Jedi.
I did come through a lot of battles here, and this is how we won them.
Exactly. And he is the best tactician out of all of them.
Definitely.
So it makes sense that he would take point on this mission. How about our series theme? Woo, big time.
Series theme, we big time back with the chosen family. At the end of Hera's Heroes, Hera tells Ezra that she doesn't need her house on Ryloth. She doesn't need the Calicori even, because her crew and her family are her home. The ghost is truly where she belongs.
And she belongs with them.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's fine.
With her new children and her father.
Yep. I got Dad's here, and she is sitting at the table with Kanan and Sham, and it's really cute. It's like she says, "I've got you" to Kanan, and it's like, to anyone who still thinks that they're not already a couple, like, interesting. I love in the background too that Zeb is like freaking giving a noogie to Ezra or something. He's like got him in a headlock. Like, they're so cute. I love this family so much. Okay, next we are going to head into our third holocron, which is the Galaxy's Populace, in which we go over the characters and relationships for this episode. Anders, do you want to start with Hera?
Absolutely. So we start off with Hera going back to Ryloth to take back her family's Calicori, this absolutely priceless heirloom. Mm-hmm. It is a symbol of her family, of everyone that's come before her, and everyone who will ultimately come after her. Mm-hmm. She proves to be a really formidable leader and adversary, showing how much like her father she actually is. We've never really met Hera's mother, but we have seen her father several times, and she absolutely is more like him than she's probably willing to admit, even now that they're on much better terms.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Dave Filoni has told us that Hera comes from a political family, and growing up during the Clone Wars was pretty difficult since her planet was under constant attack and siege.
Yeah, basically all throughout her childhood. Like, she may have been a rich kid, but that did not matter once the Clone Wars started.
No, it absolutely did not. So, question. Should Hera have taken on this mission and ultimately brought her entire crew with her? Was it worth the risk?
Ooh, yeah, I know how she feels. Like, yes, you want to get this back. It's reminds you of your mother. Like, it's all you probably have left of your mother. So I think that she thinks that the mission is important and it's worth the risk for her. She does get kind of cranky when the rest of the Spectres are like, "Oh, we're going too. Hi." Although it's like, I don't know during wartime if it was such a good idea to do this.
I think it was worth the risk. I would say that this is like, I mean, this is it is a little different than like going back and trying to get information on Ezra's parents, right? Mm-hmm. Trying to find a connection. Like, yes, information on potential people who are still living is a little bit different than the family heirloom, but the idea of like taking the personal mission to go back, I buy it.
Oh yeah. Well, I definitely buy that she would do it. Like, yes.
I buy that she would do it. I also buy that Cham would never think to do it on his own.
No. Definitely.
He'd be upset that the Calicori's gone, but he'd be like, "Oh well, it's gone."
Yep. Exactly. But then Hera's like moving one step ahead of him and being like, "No, things like this are also important."
Yeah.
And it would be another symbolic thing to be able to hold up the Calicori and be like, "I busted into my house that the Empire is controlling and I got this back, bitches." Like,
exactly.
That would be a good morale booster. And Sham is all about boosting the morale. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It could have been a good idea. It just was like, oh my God, I can't believe they're actually doing this. Especially when Thrawn shows up and you're like, well, shit, I totally forgot that the big blue Grand Admiral could be around. Next, we've got Rex, our boy. The clone captain has to deal with a lot of PTSD, as we said before, as well as finding closure within himself and his former enemies in the last battle. We have a couple relationships that he's in this episode, him and Ezra, poor Ezra. Rex wants Ezra to take their mission seriously and to follow orders. Come on. We said this before. He spouts that scary old clone catchphrase, a good soldier follows orders. And Ezra's not good, really, at following orders. So this is...
No, but he was trying. Like, this is not his fault that he just, Chopper literally grabbed him and dragged him away.
Yes, he was trying. And he did eventually get it done. And he knew he had to. Like, he knew the mission parameters and what he was supposed to be doing. It's just, he's not a military person, so he's not going to be like Chop, amazingly good at tactics, like this kind of synchronized thing. This is like a huge hint that Rex is falling back into that Clone Wars persona, and it should freak us out a little bit. I don't think we have too much to worry about here, except that it could possibly come back at a bad time. He doesn't have that inhibitor chip still, But this tells us that the Clone Wars have left such a big impression on him that he still is able to slip back into this soldier role very easily. It's like, this isn't the jokey fun Rex that we've seen in Rebels. We're going back to when he was in control. And I think he kind of craves that. He craves that control that he does not have anymore.
For his entire life. He was raised to be a soldier, then he was, and then it was just over.
And that's huge too, like, especially unresolved conflict. Like, you're basically, during this point in the show, we don't know what happened yet from Clone Wars season 7, so we don't know exactly how bad Rex had it during Order 66. But that lack of closure and just all these open wounds and Ahsoka being newly gone still has just got to be wreaking havoc on our poor boy. Next, we have Rex and Kanan. I love their relationship so much. They really have grown into this just great colleague plus friendship thing. Love it. He continually still calls Kanan General or Commander.
He's like trying to correct himself. Commander,
Kanan. And Kanan's just like, dude.
Whatever.
He's like, I am not commissioned in this rebellion whatsoever. That's Ezra. Call him Commander. I just love that Rex is so happy to have a Jedi back with him again. But he's probably going through these plans in his head and being like, God, I wish Anakin and Ahsoka were here instead of Kanan.
Obi-Wan was here.
Oh God, yes. And he definitely probably was like, where is Obi-Wan? Where's Cody? I need my dudes with me. But he does really well. Like, he bounces back and he's able to coordinate with Kanan and Ezra just as well as he could have done with Anakin and Ahsoka.
Yeah. And then on the other side of this fight, we have Kalani and the droid army remnant. So Kalani is a super tactical droid, making him one of the most sophisticated and intelligent droids made during the Clone Wars. He was originally deployed to Onderon to help take out Stila and Saw Gerrera's Republic sympathizers, but was ultimately ordered to retreat by Count Dooku. Now, Kalani is he's stuck in a loop. He's in the cycle of his programming. He's obsessed with finishing the Clone Wars, how he envisioned, how he plotted out. He saved his quote-unquote men, believing that the surrender was a Republic trick. That's a it's a smart maneuver. It's a pretty unlikely
true
maneuver.
Yeah, very unlikely for a droid.
And yeah, it wasn't a Republic trick. It was
I mean, he'd only just made himself emperor.
It's true. We're in the process. We're in the transition phase. We don't ultimately know if any other droids managed to block the shutdown order. I do think it's worth noting that the stormtroopers had their standing orders and they knew them pretty quickly to be like, oh, battle droid, shoot them immediately. I mean, we have Roger from the Legos that's still working. But he was shut down. He was reactivated later.
And I think Mr. Bones was too.
Yeah.
Shut down and then remade.
But at this point, we didn't actually know that this was a possibility. And in the end, Kalani is ultimately just trying to stay alive. Like any other Star Wars character, he's just trying to find out where he fits in this new dynamic.
Which I love. I love when they give droids kind of a center stage situation, especially one that can speak. That's helpful. We do love our astromechs, but it's always fun to get a 3PO or a Kalani who can voice themselves super well and who can communicate with humans or sentients and still be engaging characters. Well done, Rebels crew. Love it. Love everything about it. Are we ready to move on to our next holocron?
I think so. This next holocron is the fourth holocron, Binding the Galaxy Together. It's where we go through our homages and Easter eggs from this episode. And I'm going to start us off with the blurgs. Love me some blurgs. These little lizard-like beasties, you might recognize them from The Mandalorian. They are amazing. I have spoken. These guys can be found all over the galaxy. They are notably used by Twi'lek. Sorry, is it Twi'leks? I always forget.
They say it a couple different ways. Some people say Twi'leks and some people say Twi'leks. I think it's Twi'leks because Twin Leku is their full name.
And Quill the Ugnaught, R.I.P. to Quill. I feel like we've seen them in several different sizes. over the
Yes.
years. Like there are these like little ones, and then there's the big. They're all over the
The
place.
giant ones, yeah.
Yes. Usually they're very stoic, but they are very quick on their feet, and they can be adapted to be war steeds. It's interesting to me that they're bipedal, that they're not quadrupeds.
Yeah, and they got their little T-Rex arms. Like,
Yeah, they got a little T-Rexy.
they're so cute.
As we see in Hera's Heroes, they originated, the very first time we saw them is actually way back in 1985 in the TV movie Ewoks Battle for Endor. Yo, if you have Disney Plus, check it out. It is, I mean, as far as the Star Wars movie goes, but it is a fun 80s child like creature fantasy movie.
I love Teak. Teak is one of my earliest Star Wars memories. I love that little.
I am also now convinced. I am absolutely convinced that it contains a Night Sister.
I'd have to rewatch it, but it could, because Night Sisters, the idea for them is very old from George Lucas.
Yeah.
So it could definitely be a precursor.
Witch. There is a witch.
She uses magics.
She uses magics. They never really talk about the Force, but those two movies, the Ewok movies, total tangent now. I'm just really convinced that like Endor is just like very connected to the Force, because they basically throw out the Force and just have like a standard like fantasy dark magic forest.
Hey, that works just fine.
Yeah.
If we're into the Dark Crystal meets Star Wars, I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Pretty much where we're at.
Yeah, I like that in the Ewok movies. God, I need to rewatch them, but I haven't seen them since I was a very small child. So I'm sure they will not stand up, but that's fine. Next, we have a Hogan's Heroes shout out from that episode title. Yes, this was a TV show from the 1960s about a World War II POW camp with a clever hero and his crew trying to escape. There's even an incompetent military leader in charge of the current manhunt for Champ Syndulla, just like Colonel Clink on the TV show. I loved this show too. When I was little, my mom and dad would watch it all the time.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's very dated, obviously.
I've known about it. Like I know the name, but I've never actually watched it.
Love like a bumbling evil Nazi. I mean, that's such a great villain trope. Let's keep going. I like that they used it for the Imperials here. Like make them as bumbling as possible. Love it.
Yeah. All right, next up we have a little throwaway line from Hera. She calls the Imperials gutkers. Those are hard-shelled carnivores native to Ryloth. We see them a couple times throughout the Clone Wars TV series.
I love when Hera gets into her accent. It's so great. Speaking of Hera, her family was rich as fuck, y'all. Yeah. Their home is also referred to as the Syndulla Estate, which is like, yeah, she rich, and had its own water channel going like down the middle of the main floor. And having this kind of running water channel in the middle of a desert environment was a symbol of prosperity for Ryloth. So Cham, he doing all right for himself. Not anymore since his house got exploded, but I mean, he was doing pretty great.
It seemed like also like, I don't know if we ever get confirmation on this. It seemed like it was almost like a political house. Like it was like almost like a White House or like a governor's mansion type thing.
Yes, it looked very much like he is a politician.
Yeah.
But then it still was his, I don't remember if it's like his family house per se, or if it's more like you said, the White House or the Casa Rosada for Evita. I don't know why I thought of that, but yeah, this kind of estate house where the leader could just kind of lives.
Yeah, maybe. But in that house, we also have the Calicori, a Twilight family heirloom passed down from generation to generation. Kind of like a mix between a family tree and a heritage quilt. So Hera's Calicori belonged to her mother, who died during Sham's early resistance attempts against the Empire. Hera also had a brother who we know pretty much nothing about except that he died young. But every member adds something, and it's got that same, it kind of mimics their twin Luke.
They're like you.
They're like you.
I love that, how the art reflects the people, which is like
so does Thrawn.
Big snaps for Thrawn right there. He's like, yes, the Calicori looks just like they're like you, which most people would not notice. So it's like, Thrawn appreciates some art, y'all. Just don't steal it. Stop that. And then we have next the planet Agmar. This planet dates back to 1993 when it was included in a novella that came with a simulator game called X-Wing Space Combat.
Ooh.
Like, all right, it's old. The planet was also featured in the Clone Wars TV series. Count Dooku ordered Kalani to flee there after the Separatists' defeat at Onderon in season 5. I almost said season 2. I'm like, that's the season Flo's on.
I mean, it's all over the place. Clone Wars jumps.
That's true.
It's fine. All right, so in an earlier draft of this episode, speaking of the Clankers, Ezra was originally supposed to befriend a droid named Clanky. I am very glad that he didn't, because no.
Me too. Yeah, no.
He is so really, really fascinated by the battle droids, and he doesn't necessarily see them as too much of a threat at first, until he meets the destroyers, which, yeah, those are dangerous. But these ones are really old, so they can't necessarily function. Amazing moment when Ezra signs off with Roger, Roger.
Yes. So good. I do love too that they continue like the continuity with Rex being able to throw his helmet, and it was going just slow enough that it could breach the shield, because that was like the one thing that you can do is like throw something not too fast, and if it's like going at the right momentum, it'll go right through. And then lastly, we have, I did like this little detail. Kalani has this kind of stylized art on his armor. And another super tactical droid from the Clone Wars TV show, Kraken, had like a Kraken had like freaking artwork on his breastplate. This makes them different from most of the droids. Like all the droids are basically cookie cutters. Some of them, if they were like a captain or had a better rank, were painted a little differently. But the super tactical droids has these really cool artwork designs. The specialization made them stand out even more, as they're like the smart droids, the commanders, the generals. These are like the big dudes. The super tactical droid is also the model that Ahsoka gives the Ghost Crew back in season 2 when they're using the tactical mind to locate Rex, Wolf, and Gregor.
Yes.
Another
Quite literally
callback.
his mind. His
Yeah.
the
plug
head.
him in. Plug him into
Plug in the
fandom.
head of the super tactical droid. That's great.
Yeah, no, that probably was not a good idea. But it worked.
All right, guys, before we move into our next holocron, I'd like to take a second to tell you about Fiverr. Do you need a freelancer to help you with your website, either as a designer or someone to help you write some expert articles and blogs? Or maybe you need like a presentation designer to help with that next big work project. Look no further than the #1 freelance marketplace on the internet, Fiverr. You can find designers, programmers, and more within seconds, some for as low as just $5 a gig. Fiverr is the ideal tool to help you with your pressing projects. Just post your gig or search for freelancers and you're off. Don't deal with the hassle of finding a freelancer by yourself. Let Fiverr help you. See the link in our show notes to get started. Please note Bohemian Geek Studies is an affiliate partner of Fiverr. We may receive commissions on purchases and services you buy after you click the link. These commissions help support the growth of BGS, and we really appreciate your continued support.
All right, everybody, we are heading into our 5th holocron, the Newbie from Naboo. This is Flo's first time watching Rebels, so we've tasked her with watching the episodes, giving us her takes and her questions. So let's see what our ambassador for Naboo thought about today's episode.
Hey, guess what I don't like? Side quests. Yeah. Okay, let's just get into it.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Come on.
I was like, ooh, Flo is not going to be here for these episodes.
I want to preface this, but I have to admit to everybody that I fell asleep on these episodes.
Well, it's a tiring weekend too. It's 4th of July weekend. We're all exhausted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I watched these today, so it is no longer the weekend. We are recording on a Tuesday.
You're a teacher on
but yeah,
summer
episode
vacation.
6 so
Every
episode-
day's the weekend.
It's true. And I actually did go to school this morning, so I was working. I watched episode 5 and I stayed awake for that one because I was eating an ice cream at the same time.
Nice.
But episode 6, my ice cream was done and I just like fell asleep. And the next time I opened my eyes, episode 7 was up and I was like, wait, what? Whoops. So then I rewatched it. But anyways, here we go. Episode 5, Hera's Heroes. Love me some alliteration. All about it. Great title. I want to talk about the tadpole dinosaurs first.
The blurgs?
The blurgs!
What the hell? Those things are so weird. I can't.
You don't remember those from Mandalorian?
I do. And I believe I called them tadpole dinosaurs then too. We can go back and re-listen to old pods. But like, how are those so fast? I
They're
feel
really
like
fast.
I feel like their bodies should not allow for that kind of speed. Like they do not look like aerodynamic at all. So
Meh.
they're quite
they're
confusing to me.
also they're
It's
also
when
like
a big
front
dude
heavy.
is moving on the basketball
So they're
court.
automatically leaving. They're automatically leaning forward.
I just don't feel like they should like be a thing. Like they should just fall. Like how do they keep their balance? Anyways, they're so weird.
How
and
do the
people look
chicken
so
walkers keep
weird
their
riding
balance?
them. Well, that's fair. That's fair too. Anyways, I don't like them, but I think they're cute and like I don't like them as a mode of transportation. I like them as creatures, but also I felt super bad when that one got shot. Like it didn't fall or anything, but I was just like, oh God. So anyways, I felt bad about that. I loved when the stormtrooper came into the ghost and Zeb was like, yo, Ezra, do you have this one? Like, let's take it. That was so cute. Like such good brother energy there. Loved it.
Ezra's like, I like that fit.
He's like, yeah, no, I don't have this one. It fit great on him, by the way.
Yeah, he did look good.
I mean,
It's like, good job, Ezra.
perfection. This note just says, oh God, I forgot about Numa. And then I wrote Numa, yay.
Our girl Numa is back.
Yes.
I honestly didn't like this whole plot. It felt super forced to give us some like more Hera backstory, but I didn't even get that much. It was just like, okay, Hera was like rich. Like that's pretty much all I got here. And like that Ryloth is like in pretty deep shit.
Yeah.
But I guess like this episode was for Thrawn, right? Like that was the whole point of this episode.
I can't tell you.
Yeah, we can't say that. That
Okay.
these spoilers.
It is important for Thrawn in certain parts because he flips out and he never does that.
Okay, so I wrote about that. Okay, hold on. So let's get there.
Okay.
So, here's my prediction. First, I'm going to give a prediction. I have obviously not seen further than episode 6, so I have no idea. But I feel like this like Calicori thing is going to come back into play because now Thrawn has it. It's like in his office or whatever. He's like, oh, look, here's my diploma from the Admiral Academy. And also here's like this thing I got from like the war on Ryloth. So I feel like they're going to get it back because I feel like it was important. And I feel like they wouldn't waste a whole episode of her trying to get it and then not getting it to not bring it back. So I feel like we're going to be breaking into his office at some point. That's my prediction. Okay, but let's keep going. This note just says, Thrawn, exclamation point. Oh, also, before that, was it just me or like, was Hera like, wait, I understand she was like pretending, right? Throughout a lot of this episode, pretending to be like a servant girl and like she took on her old accent and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really weird to see her face kind of change into this like more demure looking face. Like her entire face changed. It was like she didn't even look like Hera because like the Hera that we see is like pretty like set. Like her eyes are always like set and like her mouth is pretty set. Exactly. And it's like in this one it was like big doe eyes and like just it was really weird. I was like, oh, you look different, you sound different. I don't like it.
Also, I want to call out the Imperials for like just the initial commander or whatever for just kind of buying her like timid servant story as she's standing there in a flight suit.
Yeah, she needed a different
holding
outfit.
something. It was just weird. Yeah, it was super strange.
Like maybe if she'd been in a different outfit, Thrawn might not have been that quick, but we don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
The Calicori was the giveaway though.
Yeah,
because he knew what that was.
I have to say, if I never hear about Milu runs again, I'd be so much happier. I was like, why are you bringing this up again? Like, I
want an edition of like Fruit Ninja, but just melee runs.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Anyways, I wrote the poor blurs are being ridden hard. I had a huge, they were getting holocroned. Okay, so I actually had an issue, like just visually with this episode. The whole part that was not Hera and Ezra and Chopper was very dark visually. And I struggled with this in like a couple different things, specifically like the Battle of Winterfell in GOT season 8. Like just not being able to see what's happening is like very frustrating to me and hard for me to like get into it. And so any like nighttime battle scenes, I don't know if it's the glare on my TV or like whatever, but it was just hard. Oh, I had this issue with the Ahsoka episode of Mando too.
Yeah, it
was just like so dark that it's like I can't, like I don't know what's going on and I don't care enough to like change the settings on my TV. So that was kind of annoying because I feel like I missed half the episode.
Yeah.
So that
Which
was annoying.
sucks. Because
Yeah.
Kanan was doing stuff.
Kanan honestly like is looking hot. Like I'm kind of just like ignoring the top half of his face at this point. He just has like such BDE that I'm like, God, my dude, like
yeah, blind Kanan can get it, and he does.
Honestly, like anyway, like it's kind of a problem at this point. I'm just like, I really between you and Callus, like, let's go, boys. Like, let's do it.
Yep. Get that sassy facial hair going and let's go.
Yes. Eyebrows and goatee. Let's go. Okay. Thrawn, we really see in this episode is just like very, very smart.
Yes.
Like he was not fooled for 1 second. And like you can tell he's playing the long game because he like let them go. He was like learning more about his enemy. And he's like, oh, I'm like a student of the art of war or whatever. And I was like, clearly, like that was really impressive. And the fact that he stunned Ezra like immediately, like he had no doubt that like this guy was not on his side. So that was crazy. Thrawn getting angry. Literally, I was just like, now I get it for Colleen. Now I got it.
Slight danger snack situation with Thrawn.
Ooh, that made like the temperature rise like 10 degrees in my house. It was quick. It burned quick and hot.
Yes.
That was wild.
He contains it pretty fast, but
he does. And he was like apologizing for it. So I feel like this has been an issue before. I don't know. Like it felt like a lot. I was just like, holy shit. Like
he does not lose his cool very often.
No.
I don't know that like this was that big a deal to lose his cool there. Like it seemed like something just like small set him off. It didn't seem like that big a deal because I can't even remember what he was angry about.
The guy Slavin called the Calicori trash or something like that.
Oh yeah, like
Thrawn
that's gonna make you that
that
mad. Like it's not even yours.
He loves art though and culture.
It's his now.
Oh.
He's very into studying people via their art. And he's been getting this like bullshit his whole life. Like you can't do war strategy by looking at people's art and culture. Or you're stupid. And people in Empire been doing that
he's
too.
basically undefeated also.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's like
it's like you
art
people
is cool.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So all that leads me to think that like there's gonna be a bigger Thrawn Sabine thing because obviously like Sabine does art. Look at your faces. Especially like when in the next episode, don't hide your face behind a mug, Anders. Kanan was like, Sabine, like get ready to decorate the new like shuttle or whatever that we're bringing in. So it's like I feel like we're being reminded that Sabine does art, and now I see. I'm picking up what they're putting down over here. I got this. Okay, this note has nothing to do with anything in chronological order, but when Sham Syndulla is on the screen, all I can see is his forehead. That's all I can see. Like there's nothing else on the screen. I'm just like my eyes are laser focused to his forehead, and it's so distracting.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I have to say about it. I don't like
Bib
him.
Fortuna too has that. The Twi'lek men with their weird forehead bulgies. It's like, what the hell is happening?
It's really not cute.
Sham is just he's such a tough hang. And
he is, but at least he didn't like leave his daughter to die in this one.
This is true. He also, I mean, I know we saw them like kind of start to repair their relationship a little while ago, but they seem to be on very, very good terms here.
Yeah, they've been FaceTiming a bunch. She like went to visit for the holidays. We just didn't see it. Yeah.
Kanan's been like, you should call your dad.
Yeah.
Hera's like, I don't want to. And he's like, but you should.
He's like, oh, I'll barbecue with him. It's chill, you know. Anyways, yes, I agree. It was like a very quick like mending and we never saw it. So that was weird. I don't know. I didn't like it. And then of course, I think like the big thread between these two is like Chopper's the MVP.
Absolutely.
Like
Yes.
that's what ties these two episodes together that we're covering today is just like they're dead without Chopper.
And Chopper enjoys killing things.
I mean, Chopper was like, bombs, let's go.
Dude, he had like he's rolling down the hall, like throwing them.
Yep.
I mean, he's on wheels, but he's almost got like a Harley Quinn like skip in his step.
Yes.
Like planting explosives to kill everyone in the building.
100% agree. He was all about that life. He was like, this is the best assignment ever.
I absolutely loved him. Right when Thrawn first walks in and he's been like trying to distract the stormtroopers, he sees Thrawn and you can hear him go, whoa.
Yes. Nope.
I feel like Chopper's beep boops were a lot more recognizable in this one as like words, which was really fun. So that was cool. So anyways, yeah, those are my takes for this one. Didn't love it.
It's okay.
It was okay. Like it was fine. Like Hera's like last thing of like, you guys are my home. It was like, okay, like we get it. Kind of cliche. Oh, all right, let's move on. Okay. It was fine. Episode 6, The Last Battle. Okay, so I'm going to preface this again. If you're just joining the pod, I have not watched all of Clone Wars.
Right.
So I recognize that my attachment to this episode in any way is very tainted by that. And like, I understand that other people might have liked this episode much more because they are much more connected to the Clone Wars. I am not. So I'm just prefacing it with that. Kanan's line of battles leave scars, some you can't see, that was really good. Yes. I feel like a lot of this episode was about like Rex's PTSD from the war, which was really good. However, I feel like it wasn't developed a whole ton besides him like snapping at Ezra.
Him saying Cody was oof. That for me, I was but because I've seen the Clone Wars, it's like they're best friends.
And like I know all this background, obviously, and so like I saw it, and like you could hear it like in his head too, right? There was like a different sound, like you could see that like he was reliving past trauma and past memories, and I thought that was really well done. But it only happened that one time, so it didn't feel like it was like super overwhelming to him in the way that I think it was. So
more.
And I don't know if that comes up again later, like as a bigger issue with Rex. I feel like it probably will. But yeah, loved seeing the B1s. Roger.
Roger.
Oh my God, I wrote that down. That was the funniest line from Ezra. Who's Roger? It was like, that's so good, Ezra. You are so pure and I love you.
Rex and Kanan are like, oh my God.
So this episode, like, I just don't know that I bought the premise. Like, okay, so they're running a weird simulation of like a battle. They're like, this isn't a real battle, but like, let's battle in this. It was kind of like the Hunger Games in a way. It was like, let's make like a mock thing.
They would have killed them though. I mean,
yeah,
they were trying to kill them. They just were old and inefficient.
Yes. However, like I was so detached from the episode that I was just like, oh, okay. Like I just don't really care about this at all.
You didn't feel like they were ever really in danger either. Like these are all the main cast members. They're not going to die like this.
Well, and they're definitely not going to die by B1s. No. Like it's not like they're gonna be like, Roger, Ezra, you're dead.
Yeah.
Like
definitely not.
That was never gonna happen. So it was just kind of like, okay, whatever. I did like a lot of like our old Clone Wars friends like coming in, like just like the different droids that we see, and I was just like, oh, like where's Anakin?
I would have been so mad to see those droidicas.
Yeah, but it was
Ezra
like,
now.
I don't know. It was just fun, so that was cool. I just wrote Callus with a heart.
He's just chilling.
Nice to see him again. Just always good. Sword and shield maneuver was fun to see. I loved seeing Rex taking charge. Yeah, it was just fun to see the Clone Wars tech again that like I haven't seen in a while. And like Clone Wars.
Because you won't watch the show?
It's not that I won't watch the show. It's that I have tried watching the show and I will give it a further try. But like
we'll give you that list of the skippable ones.
Yeah, that's what I need. I just need to skip some. It's too much.
There's a lot. You can skip like almost the entire first season.
Well, but I've already watched that one, so that's useless to me. I'm on like season 3, I think.
And 3 gets crazy good. Like in the middle, all of a sudden you're like,
And that's what I hear. And it's like, I've just been like waiting to hit that point. But at this point, it's been so long since I've watched it that like, I think I need to back up a little bit anyways. But
it takes to like the Mortis arc. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, they're going to go for it. All right.
Okay. That's good to know. I mean, I will try it again. It's just life is crazy. So.
Yes, exactly. And it's just like, watch it at your own pace.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I'm not in a rush. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
okay. I loved the tactical droid giving the odds on everything. That felt so C-3PO, which was really fun to see. I really liked that.
Yes.
I was nervous when Rex got shot, but then is when I fell asleep. So I literally wrote Rex is shot, and then my next note says, "Oops, I fell asleep." So then I had to rewatch the second half of the episode.
It knocked you out. You were so sad and
Exactly.
terrified that you just knocked
no,
out.
I can't watch the rest of this. I just felt like the end of this episode was a little bit forced, where it was like Ezra bringing everyone together against the Empire, and then like the whole idea that like Ezra ended the Clone Wars here. It was just like, that's a little bit excessive, and also like kind of erases everybody else's contributions in the Clone Wars, of which like Ezra was really not involved in. So it's like giving Ezra this like final piece of it just felt like,
right. It's like
okay,
you cracked the problem, but like there's gonna be trauma no matter what.
But also like, did he crack the problem?
It was him and Zeb. I mean, Zeb said who won the Clone Wars, and Zeb's like the Empire did. And they were like, oh shit, yeah. So I get, it's kind of crazy because it basically is showing that all of their struggles were worthless because the Empire was behind it all, which wouldn't make me feel great if I were the droids or the clones.
Yeah. I mean, putting it in those terms, I remember the first time I watched this episode, I'm like, okay, this is it's a little forced, but I mean, I personally really like this episode. I love like the whole gaming aspect to it and this idea of the simulation. I've said this on a pod before. I do know what it's like to sit there and just struggle with a problem for what feels like hours or years on end. So I sympathize with this droid who's been sitting there like not knowing the actual answer to the question for years. Would we have won? Would we have lost? Would we have whatever?
Obsessed.
Yeah.
I just think like it's a little bit reductionist. Anyways, what I was really, really excited about is the mention of the Battle of Geonosis. I was telling Colleen, give me all of the Battle of Geonosis references.
I do love Battle of Geonosis. I absolutely love Battle of Geonosis.
Give it to me every single day of my life.
And it's fun to know that Rex was there. Like he was part of the crew that was there.
Fun.
So that means he's one of the first gen.
Yes. And it's like, you've seen so much shit, Rex. Like, that's so cool.
I really liked seeing, I mean, I didn't like seeing Rex get shot, but I liked him saying like Gen 1 armor always stands up and like the Stormtrooper armor can't take anything.
Yeah. That was
can't
funny.
Take a rock from the Ewoks.
Right. And then I have to say, like, probably my favorite part of this episode was Hera and Kanan, like, and their end of the day phone call, where he's like, "Oh, babe, I was gonna call you. Like, how are you? How was your day? Like, was it good? Okay, cool, babe. Like, I'll see you back home. Like, we've got a new like jet, whatever, like shuttle. Can you tell Sabine that she's gonna have to decorate it? What are we making for dinner? Like, all right, love you, bye." It was just so cute, so relatable. Just like the cutest thing ever. I loved it. So,
and I love Hera and Sabine too. We're like, he'd call if something was wrong, and Sabine's like, no, he wouldn't.
And then they're like, well, Chopper would call. Chopper would call. That was cute. So I just like, I really like those little moments where it's like space mom, space dad, and just like having a space mom dad relationship. It was just lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my takes on these episodes. Didn't love them. I'm still kind of struggling with where the season is going in terms of just like continuity and like what the overall goal is. But I like it.
You'll be getting that more in season 4. Season 4 is very
very plot serialized.
It's plot driven.
Okay. That's
Season
nice because I
3
do
is still
feel like
building.
I'm missing that. But it's still good. Still really enjoying it. So just I would like somebody to drop in some sort of comments either on YouTube or wherever you want to comment to us. Just send us an email. I need some like good Callus, Kanan, Your Name fanfiction. Please and thank you. And if it does not exist, if somebody could write some, Colleen, I'm looking at you.
I mean,
I don't ship those two.
I don't think Callus and
Not
Kanan
together. I'm just saying,
are
like in a threesome with, I don't know, somebody whose name rhymes with like low or flow. That's all I'm saying. Like, make it completely AU. I don't care.
Lorian. This is Lorian, and she's.
That's right. Just normal stuff.
Normal, completely normal. Everything's fine. Speaking of not normal, we're gonna go into our 6th holocron conjecture at the cantina. Everything's fine. This is where we ask our questions about the episode and explore some wider Star Wars lore together. I'm going to start us off with my usual, what did Dave Filoni and crew have to say about these episodes? The one that really caught my attention was in Rebels Recon, the featurette for The Last Battle. Henry Gilroy said that he thought Kalani would hire out his services as a military advisor when he was freed to various groups such as the Hutts.
I could see it.
Completely, yes. He would totally give his advice to the Hutts because he believed that rebellion did not have a realistic chance of defeating the Empire, which fair. He said, what, 1%?
Nobody did.
Yeah, nobody. I mean, it would have been, he's like, yeah, no, I'm going to pass on the rebellion for now, but thanks. But he also went on to say that the destruction of the Death Star would have changed Kalani's mind, proving that the Empire wasn't invincible and that the rebellion had a real chance of winning. Like, it would have been so cool. So
yeah,
my
I mean,
question,
I think this is like a thing where he would like recalculate the odds, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
They took out the super weapon. They can't have another one of those, can they? Palpatine, hold my beer.
Yeah. Let's do the exact same thing. Reboot.
Except bigger, with
Yeah.
more guns.
And then
That
we'll do
should
it bigger
work.
again. And then we'll make them smaller
Mhm.
and put them on starships.
Portable.
Exactly.
Much more portable. I think Thrawn would have been more behind that idea.
Absolutely.
My question, I'd love to see Kalani team up with some other known characters like Hondo. Like, that would
That'd
be
be
a
awesome.
freaking amazing pair. Who else do you think would be a good matchup for Kalani?
To go against or to team up with?
Team up with, or him to like sell his services to. Oh man, it'd probably be expensive. That's the one problem, is that who would be able to afford him?
Part of me wants to see what he might do with Saw.
Ooh,
I don't think that would go well, but it would make
Because
for
of
some
the-
very entertaining.
because of the Onderon connection. Oh shit, that'd be great. So Flo, in the Clone Wars, Kalani was the super tactical droid on Onderon, which was Saw Gerrera's home planet.
Mm-hmm.
So he is the one that helped the Separatists kind of like suppress Saw Gerrera's people.
That's unfortunate.
So that would be a really interesting match.
Yeah. Either that.
I
Damn.
kind of want to see him. Like, I don't even know how this would work timeline wise at all. But
he can live a long time. He's a droid.
but I think this would be in the past. Wait, I'm trying to think. Where is Solo in relation to this?
After. No, before.
No, Solo's before this,
Before.
but
Okay, so
definitely
Solo
after
still would
the
have been alive.
But
After-
what I want
after the
to
Clone
see him
Wars.
with L3. So
Yay!
L3 and Lando.
yeah, yeah. I
my
feel
God,
like
that'd be
that would be
amazing.
hilarious.
That would be amazing because L3 would be like, "You're free."
That's right.
Interesting. That's attractive to me. And Lando would be like, "Get out."
I just think that would be like a fun pairing. Like, I feel like this was one of the droids with like more personality than we usually see, and L3
Mhm.
obviously has like tons of personality. I just feel like they would like go at it and be like kind of a funny like buddy cop situation.
They go at
I'm
it
here for
in the
it.
closet full of capes.
I mean, on the capes, around the capes, under the capes, wearing capes.
Lando's like, "Everyone's using the capes but me."
I know. Lando's like, guys, pay for the dry cleaning bill at least.
Oh, freaking.
So many oil stains.
Yeah, oil
That's right.
everywhere. Where did
Unbelievable.
all this oil come from?
The
Kalani's like,
disrespect, frankly. Like,
so it's just, yeah, Elfrey wouldn't care. She's like, well, we had to have sex somewhere.
I mean, it could be like a threesome situation too, where like Lando is also partaking on the capes with the capes.
That works.
Mhm.
It works.
It works,
guys.
it works.
It works.
I'm
you
just
think
saying.
he did join the rebellion, Kalani? Or did he stay hidden
I think
away?
he did. I think he stayed hidden away. I think he was very much. He'd be more likely to join the rebellion, but I still don't think he did necessarily because of the attitudes of still so many people in the galaxy. Probably anytime they saw a battle droid. I mean, we saw the stormtroopers.
yeah.
They were like, "Oh, battle droids. You know what to do."
Yeah, immediately you destroy them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like why would he join the rebellion? Like, what's in it for him,
Mhm.
really? Like, he doesn't really have a dog in that fight at this point. So it's like,
Mhm.
just stay away and like let them duel it out.
I don't know, Colleen. Do you think he did?
I'd like to think he did, but
Oh, one
I
that you
think
could, someone you could pair him
self-preservation would
with.
come in.
I mean, pair him with
Janet-
AP5.
Janet. Oh, yay. Him and AP. Oh, they'd
I mean,
fight
AP5
so
could
much.
end the war so fast.
Yeah. Organization is important and also tactics. I think that he would have been really helpful against Thrawn, but he just wasn't in it. He's like, I got to protect my men, which is really kind of cool for a droid to be like, these are the only guys I got left, so we're going to like leave
Yeah.
and find our own stuff to do. Which
The droid homeworld.
Oh, it's a robot planet, just like in Futurama.
No
You guys
humans
are such
allowed.
nerds.
What with your free will and
Yes.
all?
We are
The
huge
biggest
nerds.
nerds ever. You
Fine.
can't.
Which is the most acceptable? A flower from your sweetie, a puppy, or a properly condensed data file?
The data file.
A flower from your sweetie was also acceptable. I'm sorry, Flo.
You guys are so cute. I can't. I can't with you guys.
Oh, Futurama.
All
also.
right. Oh, Futurama is one of the best shows ever. All right. So I mentioned a minute ago, the stormtroopers, they destroy the battle droids kind of on sight, but they had this like weird reaction that to me was like half surprised, half like commonplace.
Mhm.
Like they were like, wait, what battle droids? Well, you know the drill. And then they start shooting them. So I'm like, how common would it potentially be to come across a battalion like this? Like they seem to both not come across it very often, but enough that it's just like a routine thing in their
It's a
minds.
protocol.
Yeah, it's a routine protocol.
That's a good question. I mean, I think it was pretty unusual that Kalani stopped the shutdown.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't think it would be that common that they'd at least be active, but I don't know. That's a really good question. Maybe on Separatist planets they would have trouble with battle droids, like as we saw in Bad Batch, Raxus. Maybe there was a droid presence on Raxus, which is why they're just kind of now exerting more authority.
Could be.
It's hard to say.
Yeah. All right. And then a little bit, still on topic for the episodes, but I'm kind of curious. Do you guys, I mean, they have the Calicori. Do you guys have any family heirlooms that have been like passed down for multiple generations?
Yeah, these good looks.
The DNA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this knows.
Yeah, mine too. It's from my mom. Yes, somewhat, like not tons. We have some like random things passed down from my great grandma, like some jewelry and things that my sister and I have since repurposed and like remelted into things that like suit us better, but like mostly maybe like Christmas ornaments.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like really big on traditions, so like we have taken a lot of the traditions that we've gotten from my family in terms of like Christmas traditions and like New Year's traditions and other things, and then kind of made them our own and then like added our own traditions. So I would say like, I guess like my biggest heirloom is like having traditions and like making sure the traditions are like important and respected. But like in terms of things, like not that many, no.
Yeah, we have some photo albums that are very old.
Mhm.
Nothing like super heirloomy though, because both of my parents came from families that weren't super well off,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, same.
they just didn't have a lot of stuff. It was the same, like a lot of traditions. Like we still go to the same family vacation every year, and my mom and her siblings went on a week vacation every year since like the 60s. So it's like, yeah, we have a lot of family stuff. Like if you have to have a really good reason not to go to family stuff,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
otherwise you will get a talking to that you would much rather avoid. So just go to the family things and drink the beers and just have fun.
What about you, Anders?
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of things. Nothing that's like that kind of like gets added to as time goes on. We don't have anything like that, but we do have a few traditions. Most things that would be like 3+ generations old are still like in my parents' possession. Like they haven't come to us yet. But I mean, there's a few things. Like my sister has some of my grandmother's jewelry. My brother's wife has my grandmother's like engagement ring
Aww.
that got passed down. My brother has most of my grandfather's suits.
Ooh, that's
He
Wow.
he owned a men's clothing store, so he had pretty nice,
That's cool.
well-made suits. None of them fit
I
me,
was gonna
but
say, damn, you're like, shit.
I know, right? Dude, awesome seersucker would have been great.
That would have.
Oh.
Are you just too tall?
My arms were too long, really.
Damn that wingspan, my dude.
I know, right? I mean,
Great
don't get
for
me. My brother
volleyball.
still had to get them like
Altered.
when he had to get them like pretty heavily tailored,
Yeah,
but
sure.
But still,
yeah,
that's so cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of like what this episode was about, though, right? Like, it's not about the stuff; it's about the family and the memories and like the togetherness. So, like, it's kind of nice that like we're all just like, oh, we've got traditions and like things that we do with our family, but like
yes, we have a
this stuff,
recipe
like,
for
comes
grilled
and
stuffed
goes.
lobster.
Recipes. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we've got
there you
so
Swedish
go.
many
meatballs. That's
recipes.
what we have. Swedish meatballs at Christmas time.
Oh, the meatballs.
We have a lot of
yes.
recipes too.
Mhm.
That's a good point. Like my family's obviously in France, and so like we've got a lot of like French recipes that like now I'm doing with my daughter, which is like really special and like just lovely.
I would like a boeuf bourguignon, please.
Well, we made a clafoutis yesterday, peach clafoutis, and
I love
so
a
yeah,
clafoutis.
we do a lot of that.
I'm so hungry.
All right. My last question on this episode. This is one of the only bits that kind of annoyed me, other than Chimps and Dula, about the Ryloth episode. So, the Imperials on Ryloth, after they capture Hera and Ezra, they are aware that they have Ezra Bridger, who by now I'm pretty sure they are aware is like a Jedi in training or a Force user.
Yeah.
But they don't really take any extra precautions with him. And he also like never actually tries to use his Force abilities to escape, which I find very odd. And I'm just like, dude, what the hell?
That is really strange.
Especially after like we just saw him like like mind control the AT-AT driver, and it's like now you're not being like, yo, just let us go.
There's a guard outside the door.
Exactly.
Open the door.
Open the door, right. It's like, this should have been a lot easier for you, Ezra. I don't understand.
Yeah.
No kidding. I was surprised that Thrawn just left him there in the cell with Hera.
Yeah,
like, I'm sure once Palpatine heard about this, Palpatine was like, you had who in your custody and didn't take him to the Chimera and fly immediately to...
And where was his lightsaber?
I'm guessing he just
had it with him.
Yeah, I don't think he kept it on the Stormtrooper uniform.
You can't just like keep it underneath it?
Underneath it? It's
I
a
don't
suit of
know.
armor.
I'm just saying, like, I feel like there has to be a way. I just feel like he should not be going anywhere without his lightsaber. That feels dangerous. Like
It does.
Yeah, he had a blaster, but yeah, I think it would be. I think it's too. If he can't conceal it, then it would be really a liability to get caught. First of all, what the heck is he doing on this mission anyway?
Yeah, I don't know why he was there.
The trooper uniform fit.
Yeah, he fit the
suit.
uniform, so then he got to go.
But you don't think that would have fit Hera? Wouldn't that have been the easiest?
Her
Nah, she
are
can't do
too
that.
tough.
You gotta be human.
That's the one bad.
Lame.
Yeah, Hera's way too distinguishable.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very well thought out plan, which will continue to be a theme for
I mean,
our
it has
But
been
it
this
worked
whole
because it
time.
was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the crazy stuff always works for the rebellion.
Yeah, but how
plus,
much is that
if you
gonna
have
work?
Chopper? If you have Chopper, it works.
I mean, God bless Chopper.
Mm-hmm. God bless Chopper and his murderous antics. All right. All right. Well, I think that is going to wrap it up for us today, guys. So tune in next time as we continue our Rebel Season 3 coverage with the return of the Mandalorian Fen Rao and some kids who think that they're rebels. Until then, please follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us those 5-star reviews. Check out our website, bohemiangeekstudies.com, where you can watch all of our episodes. Enjoy Colleen's Book Corner, where she's reviewing Star Wars literature. And then contact us through email and social media to send Flo some fanfic.
Thank you.
And as always, keep telling other Nerdy Knights to join us. It really does help. You can also head over to ForgottenEntertainment.com. Check out all the offerings in the Forgotten Entertainment family, including yet another Star Wars podcast, where Colleen, myself, and our co-host Daniel, along with some special guests, rewatched all the films in the Star Wars canon.
That was so fun.
That was so much fun.
So fun.
Until next time, Calicori's up. Keep those episodes streaming. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.